Welcome to this lesson, and today we'll be doing pre-algebra, Unit 3, Integers. Multiplication and division. Multiplication and division rules. Both operations work in a very similar uniform pattern. Multiply and divide like normal first, then look at the signs. Signs match, both positive or both negative. The answer is positive. Signs don't match, one positive, one negative. The answer is negative. In order to understand these rules even more better, let's look at some examples. Example number 11 says 4 into minus 6. In this question, both the integers, the signs do not match. Simply multiply both the integers and keep the answer as negative. So the answer would be negative 24. Example number 12 says minus 36 divided by minus 9. In this case, the signs do match. Both the integers, they have the same sign. They have the same negative sign. In this case, divide both the integers and keep the answer as positive. So 36 divided by 9 would be 4. So the answer to the question number 12 would be positive 4. Example number 13 says minus 2 into minus 6. In this case, the signs do match. So keep the answer as positive. And 6 into 2 is 12. So the answer for this would be positive 12. Example number 14 says 15 divided by minus 3. In this case, the signs do not match. So the answer would be kept as a negative number. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So the answer for the last question would be negative 5. Pitfalls and danger zones. Common mistakes to avoid. Be careful not to confuse structural layouts. Minus 3 minus 8 is a subtraction problem because the operation explicitly separates them. So it's very important that we do not understand this question, which is minus 3 minus 8, as a multiplication problem. Because as you can clearly see, it's a subtraction problem, right? Minus 3 into minus 8 is a multiplication problem because there is no operation written between the number and the parenthesis. So whenever you see that there is no number, as in there is no operation written between the number and the parenthesis, which is basically the bracket, that is a multiplication question. But when there is an operation like plus or minus written between the number and the parenthesis, in that case, it would be a subtraction or an addition problem. Be careful not to mix up addition and multiplication patterns. Addition signs match. Keep the negative. So minus 3 plus minus 7. In this case, you can see in both the integers, the signs are matching, right? So keep the negative. Multiplications signs match, becomes positive. So if there's a negative, the answer would be positive. If there is a positive and positive, the answer would be still positive. Today's lesson, here are some student practice questions. Question number 1 says minus 6 into 4. In this question, you can see that both the integers, they have different signs, right? One of them is positive and one of them is negative. In this question, simply multiply both the integers and keep the negative. So 6 into 4 is 24, and the answer to this question would be negative 24. The second question is 9 into minus 3. In this question, as you can see, both the integers, they have different signs. So simply multiply both the integers. So 9 into 3 is 27 and keep the negative. So the answer would be a negative 27. Question number 3 says minus 24 divided by 6. In this question, both the integers, they have different signs. So the answer would obviously be a negative answer. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. So the answer would be a negative 4. The fourth question is minus 35 divided by minus 5. In this question, as you can observe, both the integers, they have the same sign. They have the same negative sign. In this case, the answer would be a positive answer. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. The last question we have in this is minus 8 into minus 7. In this question, as you can see, both the integers, they have the same sign. So the answer would be a positive answer. And 7 into 8 is 56. So the answer to the last question would be positive 56. That's pretty much it, and we've come to the end of today's lesson of learning multiplication and division using integers. For my sources, I've used Beginning and Intermediate Algebra by Tyler Wallace, Rules of Integers by mathematician Brahmagupta. Thank you so much for watching.